Om. Hari Om. We'll start with the general invocation slokas. It will include the 3 or 4 slokas which we did last week. So we'll just chant together those slokas. Om Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayed Sarva Vikhnopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Vishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Pranams to our parents, pranams to Samasta Sadgurus, pranams to the Lord. Hari Om. So we'll look at a couple of more new slokas today. And before that, any other doubt or clarification from last week? We'll do a revision of that once others also come in. I thought a couple of points for understanding about prayers or slokas in general is good as we learn the new slokas also. One is what is the difference between sloka, stotram, suktams, or Vedic chanting? So many different terms we hear, right? We say sloka for something, for certain other thing we say stotram. Then we have got suktam. So what is there any difference, or is it different names being used interchangeably? Some are for specific purpose, fine. But in terms of their origin or content, is there any specific meaning for each of these terms? For these smaller verses, we use the word sloka, yeah, which is just a part of something. Say one sloka, one verse, right? Simple ones, which is complete in itself, right? They are complete in itself. Shuklam Bharadaram, that is one sloka. It is complete in itself, right? It can be used along with other prayers, etc. Then comes stotram, yeah, right? Ganesha Pancharatna Stotram, we say. One is it is long. It has got so many verses in them, right? The second difference is that it is specific. Because it is a stuti. Stotra means something which is a stuti. Stuti means what? In the praise of, stuti means praise. So addressed to a particular deity, a particular deva or particular devata. So that becomes a stotram, right? Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram, we say. Lalita Sahasranama Stotram. right? So do they have any intonations in them like the Vedic chanting, the sloka or stotram? They don't have, right? So they are in a plain tone, in a single tone. Then comes suktams, yeah, like Purusha Suktam, okay, Sri Suktam. So suktams are one of the basic difference in suktam is that they are part of the Vedic rituals. That is one of the primary difference. Yeah. Sa Uktam means it is again in praise of, it is like a stotra, but it has got the added qualification that it is taken from the Vedas. It is a Vedic stotra. And therefore it will have the intonations, right? So Purusha Suktam or Sri Suktam, all of them. So again, they are addressed to a particular deity, right? Sri Suktam is for Mahalakshmi. So addressed to a particular deity, but they are also Vedic mantras and become part of rituals. We were just discussing what is the difference between a sloka, stotram, suktam, etc. Now we use so many terminologies, right? So slokas are simple, complete in itself. Stotrams are a bit long to a particular deity, whereas suktams come as part of the Vedic, the Purva Bhaga, which is called the Karma Kanda of the Vedas, which has got the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, which contains the mantras and the procedure required to do a particular yajna, a particular ritual. So there comes the suktams. Okay. So these are the three primary variations which we will find. Now, slokas and stotrams, they are not, so we say they are not from the Vedas. So then where are they taken from? Hmm? Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram, where is it taken from? Is it part of a bigger text? Hmm? Where does Vishnu Sahasranama come from? Hmm? Hmm? It is from the Mahabharata. Yeah, Vishnu Sahasranama is part of the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is what kind of scripture? Hmm? Under what classification does it come? Mahabharata is it is the Itihasa, right? So you got Itihasa, you got Puranas, right? So many stotrams you will find is taken from the Puranas. Many slokams which we chant are actually coming, they are originally in the Puranas, right? And Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram is part of the Mahabharata, right? That's a context where it was given to Bhishma when he was in his deathbed of arrows, right? So that is part of a broader classification called Smriti Grantha. Smriti. Vedas are called Shruti. Okay, which means last week I explained that they're all just taught by oral method, oral teaching. So somebody is talking and the others are listening. So that's called Shruti. It is heard and then it is passed on. So Vedas also has got another name called Shruti. So we have something Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Okay. Others are called as Smriti. Okay, they have the origin in the Vedas. The entire context and concept, all principles are from the Vedas because they are the primary body of knowledge. But they're not directly taken from the Vedas or Vedic mantras. They are learnt, assimilated, and then some other acharyas and rishis have given other texts, which becomes the itihasa, the Purana, etc. So that's why it's called the Smriti Granthas. Smriti Granthas will not have the Vedic type of chanting. It will not have the different intonations. The Bhagavad Gita. That's part of which text? Bhagavad Gita from Mahabharata. Right? So that will not have the intonations. So this is one of the basic difference. That's where last week when I mentioned that yes, even though we have been chanting maybe with some mistakes, etc., as long as the intention is not a selfish intention, not a selfish desire, there is a concession given that there is no negative effect which is accruing, right? And at the end of the any ritual also we chant, yeah, kayena vacha manasendriyerva. Okay, any omissions and commissions, knowingly and unknowingly, both we include there, yeah. They say in the night also, one of the prayer which we teach the children, we learn that is Karacharana Kritam Vak Kayajam Karmajam Va Vihitam Avihitam Va Sarvam Etat Kshamaswa. Yeah, knowingly or unknowingly I've done something wrong, I've not chanted properly, because in Sanskrit, if the construction, or even in English for that matter, if the punctuation is in the wrong place, the meaning can be totally different or even opposite. Therefore, it is important that it is done. It is split. If you are splitting it, it has to be split at the proper place. The pronunciation has to be proper. Otherwise, the meaning can be different. Right. So I thought I'll just give. We'll learn more about prayers and chanting as we go along. So chanting, like anything, prayers is a karma. One more additional point to remember is that prayer, whatever we are doing, is karma, is action. Prayer is also an action. How many different kinds of actions can be there? What are the different kinds of action which we perform? Types of actions. One is kayikam, means physical action. You have to go somewhere, you have to get up and go and walk. This physical action which is involved. Right? Then there is vachikam, which is verbal. Communication. You're sitting in this place, you're communicating all over the world. Yeah, there is vachikam. Then there is manasam. Can I do any action without talking, without moving from the place? You're doing that all the time, right? In fact, we do multitasking. We are walking somewhere, we are talking, as well as our mind may be somewhere else. All the three would be acting and operating at the same time also. So the efficiency may decrease. So karma is broadly classified. That's why we say at the end, kayena, vacha, manasa, indriyerva. Yeah, kayena, with my body, if you have done any action. Vacha, through my words. Manasa, through my mind. Indriyerva. Then I am also constantly receiving input. That's also an action. Right? So there are three types of actions. Prayers also can be under any of these three categories or a combination. Right? So when we are chanting, what kind of an action it is? It is vachikam. We are verbalizing it. Right? Kayikam prayers. What is a kayika physical form of prayer? Yajna or any puja which we are doing. So when we learn the 16-step puja, we'll see that is a kayikam karma. There are actions involved in that. We tell there are certain vachikam karma comes in there, slokas and stotras come there. But along with that, we are doing action. Right? Pushpani samarpayami. We don't expect the flower to fall from somewhere. So I have to offer. I have to do it physically. What about manasam? Manasa prayers. Any mantra which we don't verbalize them. Japa, for example. Yeah. Japa always has to be very short ones. Yeah. We don't use Vishnu Sahasranamam for japa. Japa has got a repetitive element to it. So it will be short. And most of the japas has to be done as manasam karma. There are various reasons for that. Yeah, we'll see that later. Even otherwise also, even stotras, big stotras, the efficiency of that, effectiveness of that stotra increases manifold when it is done mentally without verbalizing them. Why? All these simple slokas also which we are learning, it is a proven fact that the efficiency and effectiveness of that increases when it is chanted in the mind as manasam karma. Why is it so? Hmm? It is like a meditation. Yeah, there's an element of dharana, concentration, which involves, right?
Reaches your soul.
It reaches deeper, okay. But what is the primary aspect which is giving all this? You're right, no, in terms of these effects. Hmm? Suppose I've learned a stotra by heart, hmm? And I'm just chanting them, chanting it. Hmm? Am I 100% with that stotra? I keep on chanting, oh, Shuklam Bharadram Vishnu Shashanam, I'll be doing something. Physically, I will be somewhere, right? And my mind will be somewhere else. It's quite possible, right? So, I have learnt it by heart. I'm able to chant it, I'm able to reproduce it. But when I'm chanting it, I'm not 100% there. Physically, I'm just chanting them, right? Whereas, if I say that the same thing I have to do it in the mind, what happens? Hmm? So, if I have to use the mind for chanting, I cannot use the mind for anything else. So, therefore, I'll be 100% with that particular action, with that particular prayer, right? Therefore, the naturally the effectiveness increases. But there are reasons why we have to verbalize it. There are reasons. Certain things have to be verbalized. Yeah. Like if I am communicating to you, I should not say that, yeah, it is more effective if I do it, talk to myself in my mind, and therefore I keep quiet. So, therefore, certain occasions it has to be verbalized. Even prayers to the Lord, it has to be verbalized. Okay. So, this is another thing. So, japa and all we will see, in various contexts, we'll see them slowly. So, we'll just go through, just once go through the last week's slokas which we did. And anyway, whatever we did last week becomes part of the opening slokas, invocation slokas for any class. Even for the children's class, we can use the same thing. Yeah. So we'll just chant them once again. You can start. Shuklam Bharadram can chant. All of you can chant together. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum
शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये
Saraswati Namastubhyam
वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा
Gurur Brahma
गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री
Guru Sakshat Param Brahma
गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः
Om Sahana Vavatu
सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
Good. So we'll look at some of new slokas today. This set of slokas are called the Swasti Pataha. They're there in the prayer book. Basically, they are again concluding slokas. So once we learn them, we can use it in the class, which will become a part of the 3 or 4 slokas, which becomes the concluding slokas. Yeah. Swasti. Swasti means happiness. Let there be. So let everything be fine with everybody. Yeah. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So we'll look at a couple of those slokas. Swasti prajabhyaha.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः.
So it's 2 words, Swasti Prajabhyaha. Yeah. So again, one rule of Sanskrit is that when the second word is a compound, the starting letter is compound, like Swasti Pra. Pra is a compound letter there. Yeah. So then a stress comes on Swasti. Otherwise, it can become Swasti Prajabhyaha. No, it becomes Swasti Prajabhyaha.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः
परिपालयन्ताम्
परिपालयन्ताम्
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम्
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम्.
Now, why did it become Prajabhyah Paripalayantam? When we combine? Because there's a Pa, Paripalayantam. So, after the Visarga, Prajabhyaha, then Pa comes, when we combine it becomes Prajabhyah Paripalayantam. Nyayena. At the ya, there's a stress because it is nyaya yena. So it becomes nyayena. Margena. Mahim. Mahishaha. Nyayena margena. Mahim mahishaha. There has to be a stress in the ma, second ma now. Because mahima, that also ends with ma. Mahisha also starts with ma, so it becomes like double. Mahim mahishaha. Nyayena margena mahim mahishaha. Go brahmanaha. Go brahmanebhyaha. Shubhamastu. Nityam. Go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam. The sha, there will be a stress. Go brahmanebhyaha Shubhamastu Nityam. So the Sha becomes double. Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam.
Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam. Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam.
Loka Samastaha.
Loka Samastaha. Loka Samastaha.
So the Sa here also it is Lokaha Samastaha. So the Sa becomes double. Loka Samastaha.
Loka Samastaha. Loka Samastaha.
Sukhinaha.
Sukhinaha. Sukhinaha.
Third is the second cast. Sukhinaha.
Sukhinaha. Sukhinaha.
Bhavantu.
Bhavantu. Bhavantu.
So in the first way, it becomes a combination there. Lokaha samastaha sukhinaha. So when we combine the sa of sukhinaha also will become double. Loka samasta sukhinaha.
Loka samasta sukhinaha. Loka samasta sukhinaha.
Now when we combine with bhavantu, the sukhinaha becomes sukhino. Yeah. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam.
Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam.
Nyayena margena mahim mahishaha.
Nyayena margena mahim mahishaha.
Go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam.
Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
Okay, next one is Kale varshatu.
Kale varshatu. Kale varshatu.
Parjanyaha.
Parjanyaha. Parjanyaha.
Kale varshatu parjanyaha.
Kale varshatu parjanyaha. Kale varshatu parjanyaha.
Prithivi.
Prithivi. Prithivi.
It's still different. It should not sound like pra. Yeah. It is Prithivi.
Prithivi. Prithivi.
Sasya shalini.
Sashrashalini. Sashrashalini.
So here there can be a difficulty. The first is sa, sya, sa, then sha. Yeah. So always, many times you find children, they get confused between the sha and sa. Yeah. So it is sa, sya, sha. Yeah. Sasya shalini.
Sashrashalini. Sashrashalini.
Prithivi sasya shalini.
Prithivi Sashrashalini. Prithivi Sashrashalini.
Deshoyam.
Deshoyam. Deshoyam.
So it is deshaha ayam. So there will be an elongation, right? So in Vishnu Sahasranama, also in many slokas, you will find one S being put like this, which means that a preceding A has been merged. So you have to elongate it slightly. It should not be deshoyam. Yeah, it is deshoyam.
Deshoyam. Deshoyam.
Kshobha. You be very careful. It is not Shobha. Yeah, many times when chanting it becomes Shobha. The meaning will be totally different. Ksha. Yeah, Ksha. Ka and Sha. It is compound. Shobha. What is the meaning of Shobha? Shobha means something which is not auspicious. Yeah. Okay. So we say nature's fury is called Shobha. Yeah. Shobha is something which is good, which is positive, which is radiating. That is Shobha. Isn't it Shobha? Yeah. So be very careful in this particular word. Rahitaha. Shobharahitaha. Deshoyam Shobharahitaha. Brahmanaha. Santu. So when we combine, the sa becomes double. Yeah. Brahmana santu. Nirbhayaha. Brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Kale varshatu parjanyaha. Prithvi sasyashalini. Deshoyam Shobharahitaha. Brahmana santu nirbhayaha. The next one. Sarve bhavantu. Sukhinaha. It is kha of sukham. Yeah. Sukhinaha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Sarve santu. Niramayaha. Sarve santu niramayaha. Sarve bhadrani. Pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. The ba is ba bha. No, second one. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid. Dukkha bhag. Again ka dukkha. Dukkha bhag. Bhaved. So here should be strong ones. दुःखभाग् भवेत्
दुःखभाग् भवेत् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
Next one. Close the window. Can close the windows. Asato
असतो असतो
asato ma
असतो मा असतो मा
sadgamaya
सद्गमय सद्गमय
asato ma sadgamaya
असतो मा सद्गमय असतो मा सद्गमय
tamaso ma
तमसो मा तमसो मा
jyotirgamaya
ज्योतिर्गमय ज्योतिर्गमय
the ja, this ja, ya, and o, it is geo. It should not sound as jodir. Yeah. Jyotirgamaya
ज्योतिर्गमय ज्योतिर्गमय
tamaso ma jyotirgamaya
तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय
mrityorma
मृत्योर्मा मृत्योर्मा
amritam gamaya
अमृतं गमय अमृतं गमय
mrityorma amritam gamaya
मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय
Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
So I have to give a stress there because it is Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Yeah, the third one is up. So when we chant together, the subsequent Sha will have a stress. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Okay. Now why do we chant Shanti 3 times? Like that?
One is for the world, one
Hmm?
is for our surroundings, and one is for us.
Very good. So basically, again coming back to why prayers, yeah, it's because of there are unknown factors. We start with our understanding that I control everything. I call the shots, right? I have planned. I am putting my effort, and therefore the result is because of me, right? That is my understanding today. But what happens is that as we go along life, we find situations where 100% it is not happening as per what I expected it to happen. Even though the effort, 100% of effort I put, everything was correct, but in the last minute, something happened. Yeah, we say, oh, unforeseen situations. Yeah. And what is that unforeseen situation? That means there is something outside of me which is controlling the end result. Right? Everything is not outside of me. I am also a contributor to the end result. I am just one contributor to the end result. Right? I plan properly, I execute it properly to the best of my ability, but I find that there are other factors also which influence the end result. Therefore, that is when the understanding of Ishvara comes in. Now we'll see that when we look at the part on Ishvara, but since it is related to prayers, I thought of mentioning now, and it is related to Shanti mantras. So it can be broadly classified as three unforeseen or unseen factors which are there. Yeah. One is called the Adi Daivigam. Okay. Because you say, okay, acts of God. So even in a corporate contract language, we use this. It's like a disclaimer. If there is an act of God and something happens to my factory, I am not responsible. And therefore, I can get away with the obligations under a contract. Right? So, act of God. This is a natural disaster. It's an act of God. You say, okay, we didn't create it. Nobody created it deliberately. Though it is being proven today that whatever so-called natural disaster is a product of human action or human intervention in nature. When the Uttarakhand disaster happened in June, there's so many research which has already been done to prove that it is a man-made disaster. It doesn't happen overnight, but we are all contributors to that disaster. Nevertheless, we say, okay, it's a natural disaster, a tsunami or an earthquake. So something which is totally beyond my comprehension, my control, that's called Adi Daivigam. Right? Which I am not able to even fathom, to understand or comprehend. The second kind of obstacle is Adhyatmikam. Here Atmikam means which is pertaining to myself. Right? Yes, I wanted to come for the morning class, everything was said, but somehow in the morning I didn't feel like. Yeah, something was pulling me down, which is related to myself, my own mind, or my own body. Yeah, so the final push was not there from within. So something which is pertaining to myself, Adhyatmikam. Yeah, and then is Adi Bhautikam, which is in my immediate surroundings, which can be related to the people around me or the situation around me. Or was a huge traffic jam. I couldn't reach the place in time. I got up in time. I wanted to go. I had the good intention. There were no rains. There was no earthquake. Everything was fine. But something which is pertaining to my immediate surroundings, because of which I couldn't achieve the result. So that is called Adi Bhautikam, which is pertaining to the immediate surroundings. So any result, the result of any action is also influenced by these three. It is not just based on what I have in mind as the goal, not based on what actions I am putting in to achieve that goal. So therefore, when we do a Shanti mantra, we do Shanti 3 times to take care of these three aspects. Yeah, any Shanti mantra will say always chanting it thrice. Yeah. So these are called the Swasti Pataha. Now, Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam, then Kale Vashata Parjanyaha, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, and Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma. So this also can become the part of daily prayers, as well as in a class also we chant this at the end before doing the final sloka of Purnamada Purnamida. Right? So in a children's class also this can be followed. So they learn it by heart and they chant it every day also. Any questions? We'll look at two more slokas. Any questions?
I used to go for another class before coming to Pune. And over there they told that three Shanti, Om Shanti Shanti. The first one is to be told quite loud. The second one, it should be a bit more soft. And the third one should be heard only with an accent.
Mm.
Why is it different over there? I mean, like, is it?
It is not different. See, these are all some of the other finer things of any chanting, which we will see slowly. Why now you relate it to the, I mean, for the sake of those who couldn't hear the question in the class here, is that there is another way of chanting for this which is prevalent, which says that out of the three Shanti mantras, this three Shanti which is chanted at the end, the first one has to be very loud, the second medium, and the third one should be very soft. Yeah, more of a mental chanting. How can you relate it to the reason for the three Shantis?
The louder one is so that it's like for the whole world. I mean,
Mm, yeah,
everyone's able to listen.
absolutely. So it has got a reason. It is connected to why you have got those three Shanti mantras also. So one is Adi Bhaudika, Adhyatmika, and Adi Devika. Yeah. So there is no right or wrong there. Okay. Good question. So we'll see some two more slokas today. See, all the prayers which has been given to us, these are all been given to us, right, by our gurus, our parents. Parents as the first gurus. Now all these have been incorporated as part of our daily routine. Many of these slokas. You say, okay, get up in the morning, take a bath, go chant these slokas. There was no choice for me as a child. Yeah, because if you don't chant this, you don't get this. So it was very strict. So therefore, it had to have, even today. So for the child, it has to be, because a 5-year-old would not understand why we have to chant this. Their intellect is still not developed to understand and then implement it. Right? Therefore, in the initial years, it has to be told, you just do. That's it. Right? Even if it is rote learning, just learn it and make it by heart and chant it. Later on, when the intellect is developed, automatically the questions will come. Okay, why this? What is the meaning, etc. Why should we chant? And today, the biggest challenge is that if I don't understand the meaning of it, if I don't understand the significance of it, if I don't see the result tangible immediately, I dismiss it as something which is what? Which is superstitious. This is a general tendency, not only children, for adults also, right? Which is one of the biggest challenges or risks which we are facing today, right? So it is good if I am able to understand the meaning, if I am able to appreciate the purport of it, why it is being chanted, and what result it is giving me. And most of the results I am not experiencing immediately, so should I dismiss it? Just like the medicine which the doctor is giving, say, okay, that is why allopathy is preferred over Ayurveda or homeopathy. Ayurveda, yeah, it is going to take months. I don't see the result. It is told that it will take time. It goes into the root cause and removes the disease completely. It restores your body to your natural state, because the body is capable of taking care of itself. The body is constantly fighting diseases without we being aware of it. The body is designed like that. So Ayurveda restores it so that the body can take care of itself. Whereas allopathy does what? Symptomatic relief. Because of some root cause, I have a headache. There can be thousands of reasons for a headache. But my immediate thing is, no, I need to go to work. If I don't go to work, I lose my pay. Again, money comes in. Therefore, I need to get rid of the headache. Ayurveda, no good. Therefore, allopathy, immediate relief. Fine, I'm happy. So I want tangible, immediate tangible result. But what is ingrained in our tradition is most of it is adrishta phalam, we say. What is adrishta phalam? What is the meaning of drishta? what can be seen, what can be experienced immediately is called Drishtaphala. Yeah? I'm talking, you're listening, yeah, that is Drishtapalam. Immediately it is happening. Adrishta is what? Which cannot be seen immediately, which cannot be experienced immediately. So prayers also come under that category, right? Where it is an action, where the result of it is not seen immediately. Oh, you tell me what is the benefit of chanting all this, then only I will. You prove it to me, then only I will chant it. It cannot happen that way. It's like this person who went for an eye operation. Yeah, so he went best of the hospital, best of the doctor, went for the surgery. So after 2 days, they had to open the bandage, and after eye surgery, normally they do it slowly so that the eyes get accustomed to the light slowly. So the doctor said, "This guy, yes, now see everything is fine. I'm going to open the bandage. You don't open your eyes immediately. You know, you do it slowly." So he was about to open the bandage. This guy caught hold of the doctor's hand and said, "Okay, hold on 1 second." Yeah, this was the best of the doctor, best of the hospital. He asked the doctor, all the bill has been paid. I have paid the full money for the surgery. Doctor said, yes. You have done the surgery properly. Doctor said, yes. So this guy said, now you guarantee to me that I can see. Before opening the bandage, you have done the surgery, have paid you the money. You guarantee to me that I will be able to see properly. Then only you open the bandage. The doctor said, I have to open the bandage, then you have to open your eyes and you have to see. Then only you can tell whether you can see properly. He said, no, you asked for this money for this operation, right? So you guarantee to me that I can see, then only I'll open my eyes. Is it possible? Hmm? At least one action has to come in, right? Where this person has to believe that, yes, that is why he went to that doctor, that is why he went to that hospital. He had that faith, he had that Shraddha. Now, there's a word in Sanskrit which is called Shraddha. It is loosely translated as faith. It is not exactly, because we have, we have to use English as a medium to understand Sanskrit, unfortunately. So faith is just a loose translation. So he had that Shraddha in the hospital, Shraddha in the doctor, on the treatment. Therefore, he went there. So you should also have that Shraddha telling that, yes, okay, this is the next process where the bandage has to be opened. I have to follow the instructions of the doctor completely. What is the instruction of the doctor? Yes, open the bandage, open the eyes, and then see for yourself. I cannot stop that process halfway and say, now you stop. It's like calling a priest for puja at home. He's doing everything. Halfway I tell the priest, stop now. Now you tell me whether my Mamo Pata Samasta, I had all these things which was told in the beginning. Yeah, Durdakshet Dwara, Dharmartha Kama Moksha Chaturpida Phala Purushartha Siddhyartham. You guarantee to me, you show me that I am achieving all this. Then you complete the puja. Cannot happen, right? So that Shraddha has to be there as a starting point. So that is why we start for this for children at a very young age. At home itself, they should keep listening to these slokas, stotras. All these things happen even before birth of the child. The samskaras which come in. We'll see all those things in detail when we see the Purna Vidya book syllabus. It happens within the family, within the community. It happens lifelong. It happens. It happens lifelong. So we'll just look at one sloka, which is the Karadarshanam. Karagre Vasate Lakshmihi Karagre Vasate Lakshmihi Karamadhye
करमध्ये
सरस्वती
सरस्वती सरस्वती
करमध्ये सरस्वती
करमध्ये सरस्वती करमध्ये सरस्वती
करमूले
करमूले करमूले
स्थिता
स्थिता स्थिता
गौरी
गौरी गौरी
करमूले स्थिता गौरी
करमूले स्थिता गौरी करमूले स्थिता गौरी
प्रभाते
प्रभाते प्रभाते
करदर्शनम्
करदर्शनम् करदर्शनम्
प्रभाते करदर्शनम्
प्रभाते करदर्शनम् प्रभाते करदर्शनम्.
So this sloka has to be chanted by looking at the palm. Yeah, so this is the sloka which has to be chanted immediately after waking up. Right? Is there a difference between waking up and getting up? What is the difference? Should we get up in the morning or wake up in the morning? Right? So we wake up, and before getting up, getting down from the bed, it's recommended that, again we'll see the reason. There are so many scientific proofs also as to why this should be done like this. So sit on the bed itself and slightly gently rub the palm. Okay, look at the palm and chant this sloka. Okay, so it's basically to say that Kara Agre Vasate Lakshmihi. So all the three Devis we are invoking right in the morning. Lakshmihi, Kara Madhye Saraswati, Kara Mule Sthita Gauri, and so we say Prabhate. Kara in the morning I am doing my looking at the palm, I am invoking all the three Devis because they are the one who are giving me all the resources. Right? What are the resources? What does Lakshmi he give? Lakshmi? Resources, all wealth. Saraswati for knowledge. And Gauri for Durga for action. Yeah. So we say they're called Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Say in Nilta Sasam, say Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupinyai Namaha. So all the three forces. Yeah. So we are invoking them in the morning itself. Okay. So we'll stop here today. Any other questions? I mentioned about slokas and stotram. One more thing to add there is that apart from what you find in directly, which can be attributed to Smriti Granthas, which is Puranas or Itihasas, you will also find stotrams which are composed now by Acharyas. Shakaracharya himself has composed lot of stotras, right? But again, they will all have a basis on what is there in the Puranas or basis on from the Vedas themselves. It can be attributed to them directly. Yeah. So there is nothing wrong in that. So anything which is in the praise of the Lord is a stotra. It is a stuti. That's the way it works. Okay, we'll chant Purnamada sloka also. Can chant together or do you want to repeat it? The Purnamada Purnamidam. Okay, can do one repetition. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ We'll have the class next week also. So that's not. Hari Om, those who are online, please send in your feedback on the common email purnavidya@gmail.com. On if there have been any issues on the technical side or as well as on the content, please do email. Hari Om.